So for my double page spread designs, I wanted to have a different range of options, styles, and all of this, which I'm going to be talking about. So first of all, I have this blue design page, which, as you can see, is a bit retro, hippie, is unique. From this, I mean that the masthead, I want it to be in the style of this sort of writing, which is a little difficult to see from this screen recording. But if you go in and click on close, you can see that it's fragmented. Personally, I love this idea, and I think that it really links to their whole... It's not gothic, I'm not sure what to call it. I think just retro. But I really like that. I may try and find a film and get a pull quote from that and just say, look, these are my actors who are pretending to be blah blah blah, and then that can be their pull quote. That might be an idea, or I might not include one, just to make myself have a bit of an easier choice. For my article body, you can clearly see here that I just have one strip right down the middle. This is because I didn't want to overcomplicate it or do any faffy things. I wanted it to be a really simple design, especially how it was my first one. For the colour scheme, you can guess, as in the title, it's blue. I thought that instead of mixing them on the pages and trying to come up with a colour scheme like that, I would try and have a different page for each colour. So as you flip the pages, you'll see a progression changing. However, I don't want it to go, for example, blue to black, because there's a very harsh difference between those two. My ideal magazine would flow naturally and a bit more fluidly to get that transition of blue to black. For the font, as I've already said, although my masthead will be in this, I like my article body itself to be in quite a harsh, rugged sort of style, just to fit in more with the whole page idea. Yeah, I'm going to have my drop cap as normal, nothing going to change there. For the background, I think it's in this paragraph here. I'm talking about different ideas which I can have, and I was thinking that I could get some shutter speed images for my background. So say me dropping a mug into a box of water or a flower into some water and getting those ripples or splashes, really good focus, just because I think that it would link to smashing it. Even if I don't use that, I like that idea. My page number is going to be in sticking with the codes and conventions. Nothing's going to change there. Going back quickly to the main image, I'm going to split it, if I'm honest. There's not one main image, both of these are main because they're the same size. I don't want one to be looked at more than the other. As you can see on both of these, they're very lit up. There's no variation in the face. I want to play around with the lighting, shadows, tones, maybe even a filter, like a blue or a yellow filter, I don't know, just to give it a bit more of a wow effect for the photo itself, which I personally think is quite important. Moving on to my next one. This is my brown page design. This is genuinely one of my favourites, if not my very favourite, just because I think it's so neutral and I love it. Although it's quite satisfying, and I can definitely see this going in my book. I'm not sure exactly how it could relate to my movie idea. I have a few ideas which I'm not going to mention now. I'm going to keep them and save them for later, but we'll see about this. So going on to the masthead, although it may not be the largest font, I chose the Beautiful Collection. This is purely because it's at the very top and it makes sense. It also fits into the theme. The wording itself is a very lovely brown colour, which links in with all of this. If we're going on to the article bodies themselves, as you can see, I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm counting that one together. And I want it to be read in clockwise. So this title here will go with this one. Elegant Comeback will go with this one. Beauty with this. And then Say Yes to Natural here. This is because I want it to logically go around, like how you would normally read it. Or how I think that people normally read. Moving on to the main image is definitely this one, without a doubt. As I mentioned before in this, obviously I'm going to play around with the lighting and shadowing because there's not enough variation in this, but that will happen when I'm creating these images. I do like this background, if I'm honest. Well, it's just rocks. Simple rocks, but it's really effective. The way which, I just love it. The tones, the textures, it adds so much to the page, which I think is really nice and just makes it a little bit more different. I am going to have a drop cap as well for each one of these different article bodies, just then it's a little bit more different. Then moving on, I have another blue design, which you can clearly see that this style inside my blue is very different to this. That's why I didn't put them together, purely just that reason. So on these three, if I just sum them up, I'm not 100% sure. That's why I didn't want to put them as large as I did for these two. So for this, you can clearly see that there's a very strong beach theme. Like these people are all in either swimming costumes or wetsuits, and this model over here, she's in the water. There is a very strong theme of that, which I do like, and I think that it works really well to have that theme. However, if we're going back on to all of the design stuff itself, the masthead, I think it needs to be slightly bigger. So maybe from here, if you can sort of imagine that. And I have tried to put a play on words because I know that Joy is one of the roles which she plays, but I thought that I could play around with that and maybe change that to a name which my model could have done from a play, and then do an article here about what that play is really about, just so then that can actually link to the whole film idea. For background, I'm not really sure. If I'm honest, it may just be levelling out this waterline from here and carrying it on and then having like a little beach background. I'm not sure. I haven't really put that much thought into it. Yeah, again, it's mainly about lighting is what I have an issue with all these images. There's not enough variation, which does annoy me a little bit, but you know, that's what I need to do. Moving on to this white page, as you can see, it's a bit linking to this with the whole swimsuits, but these ones are all white. What I find interesting here is that this image, she's wearing it's an interesting raincoat actually, and I love the way in which they've composed that with the black and just a few little things. So the masthead here is going to be up here. As you can see, it's on like a mottly pink background, which just doesn't work with that whole page. So obviously if and when I do create this, that won't be there. For the stand first, the font, I want this one to be a more neutral one. Maybe a little bit like a swirl, but nothing over the top, quite a casual one, because I can see this being a casual page. I don't see the need for any pull quotes because it doesn't really link to a film. And like this one, that one definitely needs a pull quote. Background, I think that I can link it to this. So I've got a few ideas how I could do this. So I found the flower market the other day and they got some really nice plants. So I could actually get some photos in there, which might be quite nice. Yeah, I can see that one. Or this leafy theme happening on that page or another one. Yeah, so moving on to my yellow designer page. This is interesting, if I'm honest. I know that they don't really go together. Like, you can see that there's a bit of a clash as these are a bit more vintagey, but I had to put these two in. They're stunning photos. I love how vibrant and full of colour they are. I couldn't leave them out. So, as you can see on here, I wanted Beautiful Summer Glow to be the masthead because I want my audience to be attracted to that, so then they're likely to go, okay, well, if that's what I want, clearly I need to read this page. I love the way which it features the glasses here, the handbag here, the coat here, just little aspects which you can clearly see for this half of the page. On this one, I think it's more of the composition, just to show that if it was my model in the film, for example, that they can pull off the over the top in yellow, because yellow is quite a difficult colour normally to pull off. So I think that's what makes it even more impressive. And I think I'm going to leave this screencast here because I don't have enough time to do the next one. So yeah, so I've talked about my first 5 pages or double pages.